Hi, my name is Hagni, and today with Franklin, we're going to talk about standardized assessment design. Context profile. Our target learners. Our targets are high school students with a B1, A2 level. Like they're in A2 right now, it's supposed, but they're making the transition to B1. So, okay, let's start with a context profile. Or target learners or high school students. Their level right now is A2, but they are making the transition to B1. The age range is between 13 and 17 years old. And what they need a communicative competence for real life interactions and basic academic discourse, like how to have a conversation.
My name is Franklin Andres Moraguer, and now I'm going to present the reading assessment design. I'm going to start with the purpose of the assessment. The assessment it has a purpose to evaluate the student's capacity to identify the general meaning and also specific information found in the English persuasive test. We also have the objectives. In this case, the main objective it is to assess the understanding of the general purpose and also the vocabulary and the specific details which the students are going to identify while they read the test. Also, the target for the test are going to be students with a B1 level English, taking into account the understanding of the specific words and sentences, and also emphasizing the functions of communication and also the syntactic processing. Now we have the reading material. The reading material is called the Fire Foraging. The source of the test came from the British Council platform, which is a free resource that the teachers are able to use in order to make different tests. In this case, the genre of the test is going to be based on the reading of a persuasive and informative test. The key sections of of the test are going to be assessment, training, membership, and community. And also the contested value is going to be related to the general context of the students, which is why this test is based on a relatable real-world scenario. Now we have the micro skills and micro skills. We have micro skills which are going to be the skimming, which is about the understanding of the general meaning of the test. We have the scanning, which is about the identification and recognition of specific details found in the test. And also the communicative functions, which is related to the general purpose of the test. The real reason why the test is gonna be shown to the different readers. And we also have the micro skills. The micro skills are going to be the word recognition. It means to identify specific words and vocabulary which are going to be important for the understanding of the test. We also have syntactic processing, which is related to the understanding of conditional sentences and also other chunks of information. We also have cohesion recognition, which is related to the understanding of the different paragraphs and the general connections between these sentences while the students are reading the test. Right here we have the task specifications. The test is going to have 5 items. These items are going to be 3 multiple choice questions and 2 and false questions. The estimated time to complete the test is going to be 60 minutes, and the total score is going to be 50 points. However, the minimum value that students are going to get in order to pass this exam is going to be 30 points as minimum. And right here we can see different screenshots of the test, which are going to be shown to the students. We have the answer quiz related to the different questions, and also the part of the duration of the lecture. Right here we can see the general task and objectives. The purpose of the test is going to be to evaluate the capacity to identify the general meaning of a persuasive test, as we said before. And right here we can see the general objectives. And also in this table we can take into account what is gonna be the general review and also evaluation of the students based on the points which are gonna be divided based on the questions. In this case, 30 points is gonna be evaluated for the students who are going to answer the multiple choice questions, and also 20 points for all the students who are going to answer the two and four questions. However, these points is going to be based about the answers. If the students doesn't answer a question very well, they are going to miss 10 points, which is a very important number to take into account for the evaluation. Now we are going to continue with the speaking assessment. In this case, it's going to be called asking for a favor or asking a favor. Now the format of this assessment is going to be interactive dialogue. The preparation time for the assessment is going to be 50 minutes, and response time for the assessment is going to be 3 to 5 minutes based on the groups. And also the focus of the test is going to be the negotiation of a favor using informal vocabulary. It means the students are going to use specific words and sentences which are able to understand and also use in real life situations. The evaluation is going to be based of these facts, which are going to be the fluency, the pronunciation, the intonation, and also the interactions of the different groups of students. Right here, we have the feasibility and implementation. We are going to take into account practicality. The practicality is based on the tasks, which are based on the usage of the British Council resources, and also the simulation of real-life interactions, which are gonna be a very important factor because it's gonna make the assessment in certain way more easier for the students, since it's going to implement different vocabulary and words which are very used for the students in informal situations. We also have the reliability. The reliability is based on the standardized rubrics and also the checklist. This checklist is going to be based on specific factors, which are based on specific descriptions of the different requirements for students, which are going to be used to evaluate the capacity of the students to communicate and also speak using English correctly. And also we have the validity. The validity is based on the direct alignment between the task design and also the CEFR descriptors and also the menu standards, which are gonna be taken into account to measure the intended skills, which are gonna be evaluated by the teachers, the evaluators. And also the standards and the scriptors are gonna be found as was said before by my companion in the first part of the assessment design.
Writing. For this activity, we have an argumentative review. What genre? Is an argumentative text. It's an online review about a restaurant. Length is like it's gonna be 90 minutes to 120 minutes maximum. Um, Audience is a general public, informal young people like students, like very young students. Task. Students create a review of a place, book, or movie, providing at least three arguments to justify their rating. Writing assessment reference is an restaurant review. What is the purpose? Create an English test or online review based on a persuasive argumentative purposes. What is our target? Or B1 level students. And the format is like how I mentioned before, 90 to 120 words. And this must include at least three arguments to justify the rating. This is like in general the idea that we have for a an assessment, a restaurant review. For this assessment, we're gonna use the next rubric: context 20%, organization 20%, cohesion 20%, vocabulary 20%, and grammar is gonna be another 20%.
Right here we have the purpose of the test, which is going to be to evaluate the student's capacity to communicate to English language and using special speeches, using informal words. We have the target of the test, which is going to be the students with a B1 level of proficiency. And also the format, which is going to be a role-play activity, which is a very important format because the role-play activity is something that students are able to do by doing specific actions and also saying specific words which are gonna be say based on fictional scenarios which are gonna be based on real life situations. Right here we can see the test and also the specific dialogues which are gonna be taken into account by students since they are gonna be very important and inferential information. And this information are gonna be very important because they are gonna use the test in order to make their own dialogues, which are not going to be written specifically, but they are gonna be taken into account by students since they are going to work in pairs. And the group in pairs is gonna be evaluated in this information. Right here we have the activity overview. The format, as we said before, it is a role-play activity, which is based on asking a favor to the other partner. The duration is 3 to 5 minutes, as we said before. The process, as we said before, 15 minutes for preparation, 25 minutes for practice, and 10 minutes for the task. The task evaluation specifically. And the scoring is going to be 50 points in total. However, the pass threshold is going to be 30 points. And the points are going to be evaluated based on these specific facts. The specific evaluation of the activity is, which is going to be the assessment of the speaking abilities of the students, is based on 5 categories. The fluency, which is related to the smooth speech, the pronunciation, which is related to the production of intelligible sounds and words, the intonation related to the control of the tone of the speech, the accuracy related to the grammatical and also the correct use of the sentences and also the specific words. Finally, we have the interactional effectiveness, which is related to the maintaining of the communication and also the interaction between the partners. And right here, as we can see, we have the evaluation checklists, which are going to be used in order to assess the students. For now, this is all for my part of the presentation. Now my companion is going to present the final review of the assessment design.